What's up, guys? So for this video, we're kind of just gonna step into classes and objects at a very high level. It's a good intro level. So first, what are classes? Classes are basically blueprints or templates that are going to be reused, and then an object is the instantiation of that template. That probably doesn't make any sense, but I think it'll help once we start diving into like a code example here. So let's just jump right into IRB. So let's create a class. We'll just kind of use cars for this whole thing. So we'll create a car class. And in order to do that, you start with class and then the name of the class. So whatever you want to name it. In this case, we'll just do car. And make sure it's capitalized. Anyway, so car, hit enter here. That's going to take us in the class. Now we can define some methods for this class. So there's an initialize method that'll be called when a object is created for the class. So let's go ahead and do that. And then we'll have it take a parameter like name, maybe year for fun. And we'll give it a default value, which we covered in our previous tutorial. And let's see here, we'll set at name equal to name and at year equal to year. So the reason we do this is we want this to be accessible outside of this initialize method. And now we'll close out this method. So we have this initialize method. It takes a name and year parameter with the default value, and it sets it equal to instance variables, which we also covered in our previous tutorial. These are actually accessible outside of this method. So if we didn't do this and we just left it as a local variable, we wouldn't be able to access it in other methods. So let's add this new method that's going to return this. So we'll do car name method, or we'll say turn car stats. I guess that's fine. And what we'll do is we'll just have it output this stuff. So we'll say the car is a, and then we'll use interpolation here. Is a, actually I want to put the year first because that reads better, I guess. Year. So the car is a 1995, whatever we want to pass in. And then we'll just do period here. And we set equal to this and this. We got that. And we'll go ahead and hit end. So now we have two methods. We got the initialize method, which we'll set these, and we have the return car stats, which is just going to return the name and the year of the car. We can also do something like cars honk their horns, so we could do like a honk method that just outputs honk, or I think that's good for now. So now we can close the class. So we've closed all these methods with our ends here, you'll see, but then we need to close the class. So this end will correlate with that. So now we have our template. So we have this car template. So now we can start making car objects. So one car might be a Firebird. So we'll say Firebird, which is just a local variable, is equal to. So the way you instantiate a class is you do the class name and then .new. And then .new, actually, this is kind of confusing, but it correlates with this initialize. So essentially, you're calling this initialize method here. And you can pass in your parameters. So it's going to be Firebird. And then we'll just leave the year. We don't even need the year for this one. So, well, we don't need it for any really, but we'll just leave it as a default value. All right, so now we've created this object, this Firebird object, which is just uses this car class as a template. So you can get the object ID from this and see that it is indeed an object. I can type. Cool. So now you can reference the class or the methods in here. So you can call this return car stats. Do Firebird return car stats. It should return the car as a 1995 Firebird. Boom. Then you can call the honk method if you want to. So Firebird dot honk. Boom. So now we have this. So now I want to make another car. Let's say I want to make a Equinox, which is my current car, in case anyone cares. not that that's relevant. So same thing, car.new, and we're gonna give it a different name, so it's gonna be equinox. And then the year is actually, I think it's a 2014, something like that. So now you can do that. So now if we do equinox dot return car stats, it will return the car is a 2014 Equinox. Boom, and the horn works. Whoops, it works if, oh, it's not horn, honk. It works. And you'll see this Equinox also has an object ID because it's another object. And you'll notice how it's different from this object up here, but it was created from the same class. So that's all it is, and you can create as many objects as you want from the same class template, and you get that reuse, so you don't have to redefine this thing for every object. But I think, so yeah, that's pretty much a high level run through. There's also something called class methods, which, just as a quick example here, I'm gonna show you the syntax for them. So we're gonna make another class here. We'll just call it car again. So, and we're just gonna overwrite the existing car method or car class. So if we do self dot, so okay, first let's class method. Basically, class method makes it so you don't have to instantiate it. So you don't have to call this dot new on the class. So in order to define a class method, you do define and then you prefix it with self dot and then whatever the method name would be. So we'll just say test. And we'll just have it output test. And we'll do end and end. So now if I do car.test, it outputs test. Whereas if it wasn't a class method, it would error because it would tell you that you need to instantiate it. But yeah, I think that's a good place to stop. That's basically high level of classes and objects. If you found this useful, please like and subscribe. Or feel free if there's something in the comments. Thanks, guys.